boys and girls. I'm here with my puppy Cooper. He likes reading books with me. And it's really hard for me to find a clean room in my house these days. So I had to come and just sit on my bed to read you a story today. I read this book to Annalie and Hudson last night for our bedtime story. And it made me think, you know what, I think my friends would actually like this story. And it made me realize how much I miss you guys and miss reading you stories. So I thought I'd share this one with you today. And it's called Giraffes Can't Dance. Now, some of my SK friends, I might have read this to you last year, so you might have heard this story before. And some of you might have already heard it, but that's okay. You know what I always say? It's okay to read a story that you love more than once. Maybe you'll learn something new. So I'll try to bring the pictures closer to you. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing tall and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at his knees. Seems like Gerald is a little bit of a clumsy giraffe. Now, every year in Africa, they hold a jungle dance where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. I think Gerald might be feeling a little nervous. The warthog started waltzing, and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced to tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps did a little cha-cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons that teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. I've never heard of that dance before, a Scottish reel. It looks like fun. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked towards the floor, but the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. "Hey, look at clumsy Gerald!" the animals all sneered. "Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird." That makes me feel sad for Gerald. I wonder how he's feeling now. He was already feeling nervous because he wasn't great at dancing. And now all these other animals are making fun of him. And we know that our words can really hurt people, right? And make them not feel great in their heart. So I'm thinking that Gerald isn't feeling very good. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. "You're right," he thought. "I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot." So he crept off the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and all alone. Poor Gerald. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up to the sky. "The moon can be so beautiful," he whispered with a sigh. "Excuse me," coughed a cricket, who had seen Gerald earlier on. "But sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song." Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. Gerald looks like maybe he's feeling a bit more peaceful now. I can tell by looking at his face that he looks peaceful. His eyes are closed. He looks like he's standing nice and still. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up the violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves started to shuffle, making circles in the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing around. Makes me think that Gerald is trying to figure out his own way to dance. He threw up his arms out sideways, and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. "I'm dancing! Yes, I'm dancing! I'm dancing!" Gerald cried. Oh, his face is looking so much happier now, isn't it? Compared to when those animals were making fun of him. He is looking so happy. Then one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream. Gerald's the best dancer that we ever seen." Huh. How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. I wonder how Gerald's feeling now. What do you think? How do you think he's feeling? Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and the stars above. "We all can dance," he said, "when we find music that we love." I hope you like this story. Can I tell you what I love the most about this story? It reminded me about how we're all really good at different things. Some of us are amazing at drawing and painting and being artists. That's Mrs. Atkinson's talent. She's like an artist, right? And some of us are really good at sports, and some of us are great at dancing, and maybe some of us are good at karate or swimming, or maybe you're great at kicking a soccer ball or skipping. But the most important thing is, it doesn't matter what it is that you're great at. All of us have different things that we're great at, and they're all different, and that's what makes us special. Maybe we all can't dance like the animals at the beginning of this book, but we're great at something else. So don't worry if you can't do something that someone else can do, because there is something already that you're amazing at doing. And some of us just have to learn how to do things, right? So at the beginning of the story, Gerald didn't think he could dance, but then he was patient with himself. He had a chat with the cricket, and he figured out a way that he could dance, a way that would be good for him. Anyway, boys and girls, I miss you and I love you so much. If this was your bedtime story, good night. I hope you sleep well, and I can't wait to see your faces soon. Bye.